right, stocks are jamming right now. NASDAQ's up about 80 bips. We got some big tech strength. We got some mid-tech strength. We've got Palantir continuing its run. I got Tom White here with me in studio, and Paul McCarthy joins us, president at Kisco Capital this morning. Paul, it seems like one thing is for sure right now. Palantir is kind of the hottest stock outside of MicroStrategy.
Yeah, I mean, you're seeing basically a growth company that's generating revenue in the top line and actually putting cash flow onto the bottom line. They're trailing 12 months of cash flow are over $1 billion now, and they really just seem to be tapping the enterprise side of the market. I mean, I think enterprise in their last quarterly report was maybe 20 or 25% of the revenue. So and they showed this is domestically, their enterprise rose about 54% year over year. So they're starting to put up some growth numbers after a number of years of seeing the stock kind of trade sideways and sort of scratching my head anyway about, what is going to be the catalyst for this company. So it's definitely sort of riding on the coattails of the AI trade and the fact that, now enterprises are going to be going to software companies to say, how do I take all this data that may be, very unorganized and be able to create efficiencies or what have you for the future. So, and I think we're starting to see, Palantir is definitely one of those companies that's showing evidence of that. They have a, high gross margin, I think is around 80%. NVIDIA is like 75. So it's in that category of, high quality. They have a product their customers like and are willing to pay for. So I think that, for them, it looks like they're just getting started in that regard. So I think the fundamental backdrop is good, but the market kind of smells that. So now we have a stock that's really overbought, and we probably need to wait for a bit of a consolidation before there's like in my opinion anyway, a better entry point.
Tom, consolidation, what do you think that would look like in Palantir? I mean, it's been such a ripper, regardless what happens in the broad market. It's like the awakening of the stock that's been very powerful, especially when you consider how many analysts have not been on the right side of the trade. I think they've had to catch up.
Yep, and you're starting to finally to see some price target hikes.
Yeah.
Dan Ives today to 75,
right.
Bank of America to 75.
Irony being that he was one of the early bulls.
Right, but there's still, I think, a lot of that, the analyst community that still has the price target down lower. And if you see the move from, the Department of Defense and the commercial side to, the consumer or the customer side in their business, that's where they're seeing the astronomical growth here on this stock.
Okay. When you look at what could be possible, Paul, I mean, if it does consolidate, if it does pull back, what in your mind constitutes like reversal? What could just be sort of a natural way to take a breath and kind of grow into its new valuation?
Yeah, I mean, I look at a lot of Elliott wave analysis. So,
okay, hit me. Yeah.
So we're kind of what's in the third of the third wave, it looks like. I mean, we're not going to know for sure until you see all 5 waves play out, and that will finish a bullish sequence. But this definitely looks like an impulsive move out of sort of like a cupping type of structures. So, I have a Fibonacci extension up around $69.50. So I think that's where we'll start to see the fourth wave kind of emerge, and then maybe a fifth gets up to that 75 area where some of the analysts are projecting. And then, just a 38.2 retracement of that whole move from like, let's say $70 would be right around $45. And that is, exactly in line with the January 21 high. So I think in the coming months, I don't know if you get all the way down there, but, certainly maybe, between 50 and 60, you start to look at this as something that, if we get into the closer to that, I think their February earnings are when we're going to see them next year. We'll, start to see how this structure plays out. And, maybe you have a pullback into the next earnings report to buy. So that's what I'm kind of thinking about right now.
Like the technical take, just real quick to follow up, Paul, on the Elliott wave for the fourth wave being at 75. Refresh me, does that mean that then they would get resistance, or does that fourth mean if it gets to 75, it can get new buyers?
So basically, you're going to chop higher. That's what you mean. So you're going to have pullbacks and rises. Probably, I think 2 of them you'll probably between, let's say, 70 and 75 will find an end to that sequence.
Got it.
Sometimes these third waves go longer than you think. So, but there should be a pullback in the next few months. So that's how I'm kind of framing it in my mind.
Like it. All right. Looking for buying opportunity coming up in Palantir. Thanks, Paul. Appreciate that. Like the technical take there. Dan Ives with the $75 price target. So Paul's saying that maybe that's kind of the best you can get short term before this thing starts to